Hi, I'm Hasan, and I'm a writer and also a model. So I think I've wanted to be a writer since I learned how to write. I always loved books, and I always loved telling stories and listening to stories. I remember before I was so proficient at writing, I used to lie on my stomach all day and just draw little comics and little girls doing different things, and in my head there was a narrative going on, oh, this girl is wearing this outfit and she's gonna go, and then I think after that, because you grow up reading picture books and stuff, so it was very illustration heavy for me. I started writing little comics after that, and then I started writing stories in creative writing class at school, and I just really found myself enjoying going into my imagination. In fact, if I could, I would probably reside in my imagination because things are just so much more expansive. I was always creatively inclined, and then I went to LUMS for college, and I did my bachelor's in English. And I took a couple of fiction writing workshops over there, and I ended up writing a story which is called Yayo, and it's a story about, well, I would say it's a story about Lahore and a very kind of local experience. But it's a story about addiction, it's a story about friendship, it's a story about partying, it's a story about a night out. And I wrote that story for H.M. Naqvi's course. So he was one of my professors. He wrote Homeboy, and more recently, Abdullah the Cossack, I believe that's what it's called. I wrote that story for him, and then I submitted it to Mehwish Amin's Aleph Review that comes out every year, and it was published in 2020. It was launched at LLF right before the pandemic started, actually, sometime around early March, late Feb. And I remember just feeling so proud that even though it wasn't I was published as an author, writing my own book, it was more like a short story in somebody else's book. I still felt so proud, and I remember my dad bought so many copies of it, and sometimes we give them to people, and we have a bunch of copies in my dad's study, and he was oh, you must sign them, and it just felt I felt like a celebrity for a day. It was really fun. And I would say that with modeling and with this insight that I have now into this whole new world, with the fashion industry in Pakistan, full of very interesting characters, the writer in me is also constantly inspired because there's just so much more story to tell now. And it's been wild, but it's been a lot of fun at the same time. There's a certain kind of flippant attitude that people have towards models, young girls who are working very, very hard, by the way. This new generation of models is hardworking like no other. They're professional. The majority of the girls that I've worked with are on time, punctual, disciplined, love what they do, work their butts off, basically, stand around in the heat sometimes in the cold when they're doing lawn in December and January, wearing heavy bridles in the heat of the summer, sometimes doing outdoor shots. It's not easy. And on top of that, a lot of them, like myself, are also in school or are also working day jobs. And I think that people have this kind of dismissive attitude towards them, as if, it's just such an easy thing to do, or it's such a, or that only vain people or not unintelligent people choose this kind of career path, when they don't realize that there is a lot of effort that goes on behind the scenes. And a lot of these girls and women deserve so much more respect than they get, because it's not even about the hard work that goes behind it. They're actually like, there's a lot of like human cost. Like, I want to talk about how my own mental health was at stake when I was like working so hard, because I was trying to finish school and I was also trying to make a good impression on my new employers. I was like on contract as a model with one of these companies, and my anxiety was like at rock bottom at the time, because I was struggling so much to like just get everything done. And I meet like my colleagues at shoots sometimes, and they're juggling so much. You know, some of them have children, some of them are getting married, some of them have to run their households. They're helping their parents out. You know, some of them are like genuinely just doing it for the money, and it's like their second kind of like side hustle that they're doing. And it comes with so much anxiety, and it comes with so much like effort, you know. And I think that, you know, sometimes, and people from the industry also are so quick to say that like newer generations of models aren't very educated or don't have class. I don't know where that's coming from, because that's just so far from the truth. That's literally like so not rooted in reality that it's insane to me. I think that we shouldn't be so dismissive of people's hard work. And you know, this industry, you know, it's called vain or shallow or fake, but you know, it's art. And just like that creation of an aesthetic or living within an aesthetic is people's lifestyle. And it's literally like a way of life for so many people. And it warrants respect, and it warrants a certain amount of dignity. And I think that it's very, very important that we respect everyone for their profession. We shouldn't look down at someone just because they have a different life than we do, or that they have a different journey that they're on. It's just different. That doesn't mean that it's not worthy of respect, or that it doesn't warrant a second look. This isn't like advice to anybody, except maybe reaffirming to myself as someone who is a creative, and maybe someone out there would hear this and kind of agree with me that, you know, it's so important to continue whatever it is that you're doing. As a writer, I don't think that I have the luxury anymore to wait around for inspiration. I just have to keep at it, you know. And also in the world of like multi-hyphenates, I feel like everybody is doing everything, you know. Like, I don't think that there's really any people from this generation, I would say, that are doing just one thing. There's always people doing several different things at once. And I think that there is an overlap between like what I do, like modeling and writing, even though they feel like they're such different kind of ends of the spectrum. There is a lot of overlap because they're both kind of about the aesthetic. And you know, I honestly, like looking forward, hope to continue writing, and maybe one day I'm published, maybe a bunch of short stories or a novel. I'm planning on pursuing this in grad school as well, because I just want to hone my craft as much as possible. And I would say to other people as well who are creatively inclined to continue focusing on their craft, and to just honestly keep at it. Don't wait around for inspiration, or don't wait around for like a block to be lifted. There is no excuse, you know. You have to live in your art in order for you to be proud of your art. There's no external kind of validation that you should be looking for. The validation should come from inside.